Edward thought he could manipulate his mother into moving out of her flat, all for the sake of his mistress. But when his wife, Marina, uncovers the truth through a private investigator, everything changes, furious and betrayed. Marina walks away, leaving Edward behind. What happens next will shock you.
"Marina, you have a serious task this weekend," Oliver's husband announced one morning.
"You'll need to help Mum pack her things and move to the country house." What country house? And why on earth would Margaret Watson suddenly decide to go there? Oliver asked in surprise. "Oh, good morning, sleepyhead. Didn't I tell you? A relative left Mum a house in the suburbs. A nice one. With a garden, vegetable patch, everything. Didn't she mention it? No? You must have forgotten. Anyway, she's finally made up her mind. It's not complicated. Just help her pack, take her there. It's not far. I can't go. I've got too much work." Oliver sighed. Lately, her husband always had too much work, and she had been planning to relax this weekend. Oliver worked as a surgical nurse at a hospital, a demanding, high-stakes job. Lately, she had been exhausted, but she couldn't refuse her mother-in-law. After all, many elderly people dreamed of moving to the countryside. Surely Margaret Watson was happy about the fresh air. That weekend, she went to her mother-in-law's apartment to help pack. "So, Aunt Margaret, ready to become a country girl?" Oliver asked cheerfully. "Yes, dear," Margaret Watson replied with a sigh, anything but cheerful. "What can you do? Some people dream of this." And suddenly, my dream came true. She sighed heavily again. "Won't you be lonely out there?" Oliver asked, surprised by her mother-in-law's mood and by her own sudden realization. Country life wasn't easy for city folk. "Well, it's too late now," Margaret Watson said. "If I've decided I have to go, no way around it. It's not that far, you can always visit, and we'll come see you." "Of course, with pleasure," Oliver said. Soon, everything was packed. They called a taxi and headed to the suburbs, to the small village where Margaret Watson would now live. Oliver's surprise only grew. The house was in decent condition, and the yard was well kept. But the bathroom was outside, and the stove had to be heated with firewood. Could Margaret Watson, a lifelong city dweller, manage that? When Oliver tried to ask, her mother-in-law dodged the questions. She didn't seem happy about the move at all. "All right, Oliver, go home and rest. It's your day off," Margaret Watson said after they unpacked. "Thank you for helping. I'll manage from here." As they arranged the belongings, Oliver noticed tears in her mother-in-law's eyes, not tears of joy. She wanted to press further but held back. Maybe Margaret Watson was just overwhelmed. People often got emotional leaving their homes, especially at her age. But she needed to talk to Edward. Why had his mother suddenly decided to move? Did he know something? Oh, Edward knew exactly why. He had convinced his mother to leave, without telling her the real reason. The truth? He planned to sell her apartment, and he needed her gone to do it. This wasn't about improving their finances. Edward had other plans, namely a young, beautiful mistress whose upkeep wasn't cheap. Charlotte wasn't some modest nurse like Oliver. She had completely enchanted Edward, and for her, he was ready to do anything, even break the law. Not that he committed any serious crimes, but as a supply manager at his company, he had access to funds. And when Charlotte demanded a new ring, a fur coat, or something else, how could he resist dipping into company money? For a long time, he believed he'd somehow replace the missing funds, but the debt kept growing. Finally, he realized the only way to avoid punishment was to sell his mother's apartment. The money would cover the deficit and buy Charlotte more gifts. As for his mother? Well, she has a country house. Let her live there. Even if she found out, so what? She'd be angry, then forgive him. That's what mothers did. Edward was proud of his cleverness. "I tricked Mom, fooled my wife, and duped my boss," he thought, humming to himself. What he didn't know was that his boss had already suspected embezzlement and hired a detective, Graham Cole,
an experienced investigator skilled in financial crimes and surveillance. Graham quickly zeroed in on Edward. The supply manager had both opportunity and means to steal. But without proof, the detective kept quiet, opting to dig deeper.
It wasn't hard. Edward, though cunning, was also arrogant. Convinced of his invincibility, he had no idea he was being watched.
Graham tapped into Edward's phone, gaining access to every conversation. What he heard horrified him. Not just the theft, but Edward's cold-blooded plan to rob his own mother. Family meant everything to Graham. He had recently lost his mother to illness, and his wife had left him soon after, refusing to care for his ailing mother. Now he was raising his young daughter, Lily, alone. And here was Edward, celebrating exiling his mother to the countryside while plotting to sell her home. How do people this vile always find victims? Graham wondered. He planned to report Edward to his boss, but first he wanted to warn the unsuspecting women in his life. They trusted him, unaware of the danger. But fate intervened. Spring roads were unpredictable, icy one moment, slick the next. Vlad Spencer lost control of his car. Everything happened so fast, he didn't even realize he'd been in an accident until he woke up in hospital. That same day, Marina was on duty in A&E when Vlad was brought in with serious injuries. As she helped undress him for treatment, a strange device fell from his pocket. She set it aside, too busy to care. Only later, once the patient was stable, did she examine it. She accidentally pressed a button and heard her husband's voice. "Everything's set, sweetheart. No more problems." "You've said that before," a woman's voice replied, "but the problems never disappear." "Trust me, the old lady's in the village now. Your boy did everything right. Soon we'll be rich." Marina's hands trembled. She turned off the device, her mind spinning. Was Edward cheating on her? And had he lied to his mother just to sell her apartment? She had to find out the truth. When Vlad woke in his hospital room, Marina was by his side. "Don't worry, you're going to be fine," she said gently. "How long have I been here?" he asked, his voice weak. "A day. And I need to ask you about the device in your pocket." His face turned pale. She explained how she'd heard Edward's voice. Vlad sighed. "I'm a private investigator. Your husband's boss hired me. Edward's been stealing from the company, and he tricked his mother into leaving so he could sell her apartment." Marina's heart sank. That evening, she confronted Margaret Watson. "Did Edward force you to move?" The older woman sighed. "Not force, but he made it sound urgent. I didn't argue. He's my son." "Did you know he's selling your flat for his mistress?" Margaret's eyes widened. "What?" Within minutes, she was packing. "I'm going back to the city. He'll learn what happens when he tries to sell my home behind my back." When Margaret stormed into her flat, she found Charlotte there, already making herself comfortable. A furious row broke out. Edward rushed over, stammering excuses, but his mother had had enough. "Get out and give me my keys. I never want to see you here again." Edward returned home, fuming. "How dare you interfere?" he shouted at Marina. "I'm glad I did," she replied coldly, packing her bags. "You're a liar and a cheat. Our marriage is over." "You're leaving for your lover, I bet," he sneered. Marina laughed. "I'm moving to your mother's house. Alone. Don't even think about following me." Edward, desperate, begged his mother to help him, but she refused. "If you'd been honest, we could have fixed this. But after what you did, face the consequences." Meanwhile, Marina found unexpected comfort in Vlad's kindness. He had a young daughter, Emily, who adored Marina. One sunny weekend, Emily grinned. "Papa, let's move to Aunt Marina's house forever. It's so fun there." Vlad and Marina exchanged a smile. They had confessed their feelings,
but worried about Emily's reaction. Turns out she was already on board. Soon, they married, starting a new life filled with love, laughter, and trust, leaving the past behind. If you enjoyed the story, please like and subscribe for more. Thank you and take care.